so that you can really understand how to work with energy within those two habits. Because we all have masculine energy and we all have feminine energy, where we need to get practiced in letting go and giving in to our desires, like the full surrender. And then there's also times that we actually have to be submissive to authority, or we actually have to create authority with that masculine energy so that it can come into balance. Welcome to my channel. My name is 𝗠𝗲𝗃𝗍𝗏. I've been in fitness since 2001, and I incorporate energy work into your eating and your exercise so that you can really see the patterns, so you can transform your energy and then manifest the body of your dreams, and then whatever else you want, since your body is the conductor of your reality. So today's live stream is about exercise. So I'm going to be going back and forth between eating and exercise so that you can really understand how to work with energy within those two habits. Because we all have masculine energy and we all have feminine energy, where we need to get practiced in letting go and giving in to our desires, like the full surrender. And then there's also times that we actually have to be submissive to authority, or we actually have to create authority with that masculine energy so that it can come into balance. I want to start introducing to you that we have something very powerful coming next year, February 20th of 2026, where Saturn and Neptune, a masculine planet and a feminine planet, are going to be conjunct. There are going to be an exact match at 0 degrees Aries. And Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and 0 degrees is the beginning. And so we truly get to be here for an evolutionary time in civilization. And the more that we get wrapped up with what is happening in the 3D world, the things that we cannot change whatsoever, the more that we are wrapped up in that, the less opportunity we have to connect with our soul and actually just be part of the universe for such a powerful time where we get to shift. And so if you've been following me, especially in the last year, you know that I read a whole bunch of information about the goddess religion and how archaeology shows us that we had a belief in God being female, but then also how the evolution changed into an exterior male god, but also how those two things, basically the matriarchy, where it was really ruled by instinct and the unconscious and superstitions, and then the patriarchy that really got ruled by purity and by authority and by structure and by getting rid of any of our impulses. And so what I really love about this time and everything that I studied is that if we left the matriarchy to have the patriarchy, and we're in an evolution of time, then what would the next phase of civilization be? If it's not the matriarchy and it's not the patriarchy, what exactly would this be? And so that's what I'm really excited about, because that's what we get to create. So today we're talking about the mental mirror, redefining work. And so I have just 2 topics for you that I want to cover, and I'm just going to read the caption and then riff on it. So shifting from work, quote unquote work, to magnetism unlocks intrinsic motivation because the mindset accompanying magnetism is following universal law, closing the gap on faith without works is dead. You must do your part in participation with your soul's will for whatever it wanted to experience during the evolution of time, the awakening. When you align your actions of caring for your body, spending quality time with it, caring for it through exercise, you put in the manifestation reps to hold your dreams. Your body holds energy. Your dreams have energy. You must set up your body to hold the energy of your dreams. Using exercise as a signal to yourself and the divine to manifest around you changes doubt into belief. It's easy to act on belief. That's all we do every single day. It just depends on what we believe in. And the subtle power of reframing effort, That's the next part. Okay, hang on. Delete, delete. That's part two. Okay, so what I really love is that the universal law and faith without works is dead. So all of our spiritual books and all of our religious books are in their own way telling us about universal law. And so it's not enough for us to think happy thoughts or send prayer requests to heaven and then not do anything with our physical body. We have the physical body so that we can like do things in the 3D. I was just looking through some old videos of mine when I would go on walks and I would talk about the chakras. And I talked about how emotion is two things. It's vibrational, right? The music that you listen to, we already know what the vibration is, right? It's a measure of frequency. But not a lot of us have had information that the emotions are also molecules. And so when I was putting that together of like the soul experience of, okay, here, so we have the vibration of our soul, and we have our astrology, our astrological placements that are our archetypal intelligence, all the different ways that we can manifest our personality. And then we have events that our soul wanted to experience for its expansion. And so if we put those things together, we it's like, okay, so before we were born, we had all of these things that we wanted to create, and we created ourselves with our astrology and with our soul's desires. But then when we get here, if we don't do anything, we're missing it, right? But here in the physical realm are the earth sciences, the periodic table. So that means that our soul on the vibrational level actually has a legitimate chemical connection to the earth because we have the same minerals that we can find in soil. And so if we keep breaking this down, then that would mean that on a chemical level, if we're not connecting with our actions because we're so connected to the earth with the chemicals, then we're not actually closing the gap. And so when you start to really put these things together, that our physical body has components that are the same of the earth, and our vibrational body, our soul, and our mindset has the same components of the non-physical, then it would make sense that we actually have to do something in the 3D, in the physical form, in order for these dreams to come true. And so, if you think about this from a biblical perspective, from the masculine patriarchal perspective of creating order out of energy, faith without works is dead. We cannot just be matriarchal and superstitious and think that there is a phenomenon that is completely out of our control. We want to actually harness that energy and create with it. So when we actually put in the actions that align with our dreams, so whatever it is that you want your body to look like, if you do the actions that match the function of the body or those body parts of your desire, that's what you're going to start to look like. And so for me, I had years and years and years that it was just about being able to sit without having neck pain, that it was about being able to work out without a flare, that it was about increasing my workload with not getting depleted and needing to take a week off because I didn't manage my energy. But then once those things really got settled, then it became, I'm healthy. What do I want? I want to be as hot as possible. What does that mean for the feminine aesthetic in my desire? That means big shoulders, narrow waist, big butt. I want to look like a bikini competitor without going through the competition and without getting that lean, but I want the shape. Okay, perfect. So then I started to do the exercises that were actually going to get me that shape. And so if you do the things that are aligned with your thoughts and feelings and your body parts, then you are completing a manifestation gap, making you more magnetic to whatever it is that you want. Let me share with you how. So when you are doing the actions that are in alignment with your thoughts and feelings or the aesthetic that you want, and you do those things, what you're actually signaling is a feedback loop, like an infinity loop system that says what you do in the physical, in your consciousness, in your 3 to 5%, is actually going to redirect energy into the non-physical for your soul to kind of like compute and process and then create wisdom and then expand and have more energy because you were sending information back to the universe that you are that bitch. You can do it. You can handle it. Because if your soul created a whole laundry list of experiences that it wanted to have during the awakening, during a powerful time in civilization, for the purposes of expansion, and even for the purposes of contribution, when you close that gap, there's a unification that happens between your human self and your non-physical self, your physical self and your non-physical self. So then that way, as your soul is kind of checking the box on the experiences that it wanted to have, the ways that it wanted to grow and evolve and become more wise and become, more joyful, then you get to actually hold the manifestation of that soul level. Do you know what I mean? So, like, if you have big dreams of what you want to create in your life, but right now your life is not a reflection of that, how could you possibly go from where you are now to the end game of your dreams? There's absolutely no way you'd be able to do it. It's like if you went shopping without a bag. If you went to Costco and you did not have a cart, right? I used to do this all the time. I would just come in with my canvas bags because I was like, I am only buying the vegetables and fruits that I need for my diet. And I'm only coming in with bags so that I am not tempted to buy anything else because I'd be forced to carry it. So I'd have my bags loaded up with vegetables, one on each shoulder. And then sometimes I would give into temptations and then I would have to carry something in front of me. And I'd be like, okay, that's it. You can't get anything more. Just get to the grocery, get to the checkout and get out of here. If you are who you are now and you have a bunch of dreams and you're not doing anything to get your physical body in alignment with it, there's no space for that manifestation to come in. And if by chance you actually get a manifestation of your desires, you will sabotage it because that thing is so foreign to what your energy system, what your unconscious knows it's capable of holding. So little by little, every time you go to the gym or you do a follow along workout at your house, you are telling the laws of the universe that you can handle it. You can be the person that's capable of handling the stress that comes with big responsibilities, that comes with having big dreams. And so that way you're getting your body and your stress capacity into alignment with the bigger things that you want just by having your exercise. The second thing that I wanted to share with you today was the power of reframing effort as skill development rather than just calorie burning. It expands your understanding of your body's function. So your body is the unconscious mind. The ego, the conscious mind, is individuated from the body. While that can cause problems, it's not all bad. And here's why. If you had all your inbox emails open, crowding your desktop, could you still open a Word document, a browser? Would you be able to see your desktop background? You wouldn't. How could you? You've got hundreds of emails all over your screen. It's the same with your body. Your body has energetic ranges of information similar to Wi-Fi signals. Each range is an emotion, and an emotion is energy in motion. But as you know, it's dense in the third dimension, and sometimes energy gets frozen. When you shift from calories burned to energy accessed, you can move energy up and out of your body so that you can hold the energy of your dreams. So most of us have gotten into the habit of thinking that the exercise is solely for the amount of calories that you can burn so that you can lose weight because you're following the math equation of eat less, move more, which is true for the most part. There are some nuances within that and caveats within that that makes that not completely true. But if we shift from, I just want to burn calories into, I'm actually creating a skill set, then you like want to keep coming back for more because you start to see the carryover. So your body's going to have functions. It's going to have physical functions. So the shoulder helps lift the arm out to the side, forward, helps take it backward, helps push the arm overhead. That's basic shoulder function. But there's also an energetic function also. The right side of the body has to do with masculine energy. The left side of the body has to do with feminine energy. This is why we want to be seated on the right hand of God, patriarchal religion, and why the left-hand path, matriarchal religion, was deemed evil. Left side is female, right side is masculine. And it goes on and on and on and on. But here's the other thing. Wherever you lodge emotions, wherever your soul decided to have emotional experiences, bad shit happen, that's going to get stored in different areas also. So it's going to change how your hip function is. It's going to change how your thigh bone sits inside the hip. That will allow you to do a squat safely so that you don't strain your back and you really get it into all the right places. Your body's energy function is so that you can operate without having all the emails open. Your mind has to be individuated from your body to a certain degree because it's dealing with conscious and unconscious. It's dealing with superstition, intuition, instinct, and then also being grounded and having order and being creative and actually getting something done. We have to have them separate to a certain degree. So when you're doing your exercise and you're like, okay, I really want to have a nice open chest so that my posture, looks really nice. That means you're going to have to develop your posterior muscles to pull these bones backward. But while you're doing that, it might trigger a headache. You might have a misalignment that pulls on these long, skinny muscles in your neck, strains them, pinches them, and then pinches a nerve. And then now you have the forehead eye headache. That could happen, right? But what else happens is that if you're doing an exercise and that trigger happens, something gets out of alignment, you get nerve pain. Well, if you go look up the metaphysical meaning of a headache, the metaphysical meaning of neck pain, the metaphysical meaning of shoulder pain, you might actually find emotions and meanings and stories that feel resonant with your identity, with the feelings that you have about yourself, and with what you have made your negative self-talk, your negative self-image mean about you and your worth. So then all of a sudden now your workouts become a way for you to process energy. And so when I was doing this for myself, it was exhilarating because there were times in the gym that I would feel a different part of my body finally have mobility, even though I was doing joint mobility, even though I did Pilates pretty consistently, especially in the last couple of years. But there was movement and there was an emotional release and there was meaning behind what was actually going on in my body. And the more I tuned into this with the exercise, the more I was like, if all else fails, I'm going to the gym to put the manifestation reps in. And then there would be times where I really got to find what was stored in my energy so I could transmute it. So if I found something that had a painful meaning, a disempowering meaning, a victim mindset, then when I went to the gym, I changed my belief around that as I was exercising. And it was so simple because if something's disempowering, a very easy way to have empowering is, oh my God, look at my muscle. That's it. That's enough of a shift. And the more I did this while my body wasn't in the aesthetic that I wanted, the more I loved my body as if it were in the aesthetic that I wanted. And because that built the intrinsic motivation to keep going, because I had so much more meaning about it, the more my body actually got into the aesthetic. And then that's like the whole aligned and hot handle that I have on Instagram. because you can use your eating and your exercise, yes, of course, to get to your aesthetic goals. But because they have direct correlation with masculine energy and feminine energy, you could actually use it to change your energy so that you can hold more energy, that you could be the magnetic conductor and the container of your energy, so that you really truly could create whatever it is that you want in your life. And so that's what I wanted to share with you today. This is like super short. I want to work on getting these shorter for you. And the next Fat Life round starts on September 8th, 9/8. September 8th is when the round 2 starts. Currently, it's at $222 monthly. You can cancel at any time. And then I am scaling it to where you can have a self-paced experience with periodic activations from myself on calls. And then also we have a mastermind component as well as a private component. And what's super cool is I actually have a private client starting this week, even before we launch in September. And so that's really cool. I'll start to tell you all about that later. And if you go to 𝗪𝙤𝙀𝗍𝗠.com, you can get signed up, get on the wait list as we get closer to the official start date so that you can get on the VIP to where you get some special bonuses for being on the wait list before we actually open the doors to registration. So I hope you have a fabulous day. Comment below, YouTube or Facebook, with any questions about this topic, and we can dive into it even deeper.